was supposed to be somewhere else. I cancelled that, and then at 5 to 9, it was supposed to be from 9 to sorry, from 10 to 10:30. Beach was supposed to. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, you ready to go? Okay. Good afternoon, and welcome to this meeting of that Housing Supervisory Board, particularly for our new members. Nice to see you. Thank you. We're not expecting a fire drill today, but in the event of the alarm sounding, please leave the building and gather at the front of the building. I'm obliged to inform you that this meeting is being live streamed and recorded. Can I also ask that you please ensure your mobile phones, and I'm going to add computers to that because I'm sure you all know that I hate them going bing bang bosh, which they're doing a lot in the next few weeks during the meeting. If you would just check and make sure of that. My name is Vince Hunt, and I am the chairman of the Housing Supervisory Board. I'm going to start with Roger, I think, and then we'll work our way all the way around. If you'd like to just introduce yourselves, that would be good.
Roger Evans, elected member, London Division.
Ruth Houghton, councillor at Bishop's Council.
Rose Midart, based in Hill Column and Saturn, new to this committee.
And I'm Derek Humphreys, chair of CDL board.
Councillor Simon Jones, representative for the Shropshire division.
Mark Gray, managing director for Cornell Developments Limited.
Jane Huey, assistant director, Homes and Communities, Shropshire Council.
Lucy Heath, client and commissioning manager at Shropshire Council.
Shelley Davies, committee officer.
You didn't need to pass in, Shelley, you were the last one. Okay, if members could, if they remember, am I getting some feedback here?
Yeah, there's
but
some speakers.
Right.
Might be my hearing aids, Mr. Chair.
Is that all right, Shelley? Is it all right if I leave that off? Because I'm getting feedback and it's going to irritate me.
I don't know what.
Right, well, didn't say anything about the stems, but I do remember.
Okay,
Let me try again. Try again then. I'm sure somebody will let us know if it's not quite right. So please do remember, if I don't remember to state your name, if you have something to state, obviously we're being live streamed. So it's nice if people know who's speaking. We'll start then with item 1, which is apologies for absence. I have received apologies from Councillor Dan Thomas, Gary Burchett and Jeff Anderson. And I think everybody else is here. So item 2 then we'll move on to, which is
Julian D.
did he send his apologies to you?
I've not had.
Well, if he's not sent his apologies, then we won't know his apologies. If ever. No, I thought maybe that was him. If he comes in, he comes in. But there you go. Okay, this item 2 is disclosable pecuniary interests. Can't see anybody indicating, so we'll move on to item 3, which is to confirm 2 sets of minutes. One that was held on the 14th of March and one that was held on the 9th of May, which was the little quick meeting at the end of full council. All of those were here.
Yeah, I'm happy to move both sets of minutes.
All right, good. Roger, thank you. As nobody else is saying or demanding a correction, I will assume that they're correct, and that was my computer. Sorry, people. Yeah, shows that I am human and fallible. But there we go.
Did you check your phone?
Yeah, I've already done my phone. So okay. Item 4 then is public questions, and we have had none received. Item 5 is member questions, and again we have had none received. So we'll move into item 6, which is the Foregate Developments Limited monitoring report. I believe that's going to be presented by you, Jen.
Thank you, Chair. So this is the regular quarterly report presented to Housing Supervisory Board regarding the activities of Foregate and giving updates on its live schemes and its progress. So As things stand at the moment, the report shows that the number of units forecast to be delivered has increased since the last quarterly report from 723 going back up to 882. There has also been an increase in the number of affordable homes the company now anticipates to deliver, increasing from 17% to 18%, which is up to 163 dwellings, affordable dwellings, up from 123 reported last time around. You'll see in the report reference to the climate change appraisal, which picks out the performance of all of the homes across the different schemes that Cornovy is delivering. I won't go through that in detail. It's all listed and detailed in the report, and illustrates the ways in which the company is achieving the goals in terms of climate change and neutrality. This is reporting to the shareholder as part of the shareholder agreement, which has to be delivered on quarterly intervals back to the Housing Supervisory Board. Cornovy aims to deliver 94 private rented homes over the planned period now, 12 of which will be coming on the London Road development. This is a new development for Cornovy, which has previously delivered only homes for market sale and homes for affordable rent. It also has social value objectives, and these are being met through investment in local contractors and subcontractors, offering employment and training opportunities, and support in educational settings close to its development sites. And these are listed in more detail in one of the appendices. So I won't go through any more detail, but we do have the report that Cornovy itself has provided, which is appended to my report, and we have Harpreet here as well to answer any questions of detail.
So,
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for the report. There was just one question that was with regards to 2.3, where you say that we've increased the number of affordable homes from 17% to 18%. Do we have any idea or expectation of actually reaching the planned 19% in the future?
Where we stand today, we'll be beating that number. We are looking at different ways to deliver more affordable homes across all our sites, but within the kind of context of some of the challenges both the housing revenue account and RPs are facing. Many of our local RPs business plans are now kind of full in terms of what they can allocate for funds for new homes, with a lot of them funds currently being used for repairs and maintenance obligations. But we continue to explore those options. But we are confident across all our developments that we've delivered and building at the moment that we will beat the target that we set, and hopefully we'll be close to what the Housing Supervisory Board originally wanted to achieve, which was a 60% market sale mix, with 40% being affordable and hopefully private rented sector homes as well.
Roger.
Thank you, Chairman. So I was going to chase the same sort of question up 17%, 18%, 19%. So what market mix are we at present if it's 60-40? Could work it out, but 17%, 18%, I would prefer to see more affordable homes. And we may talk about that later in the meeting under another item. Detail, but here it says there with the increases in numbers. And also, whilst I'm talking, Chairman, can I ask why at London Road we're only going for an EPC rating of B?
I can answer the affordable housing first. Across our first 4 developments that are nearing completion, when we look at the mix around affordable housing and market sale, we were at 36%, with the balance being 34%, with the balance 66% market sale and potentially private rented sector homes as well. We're currently in the process of finalising a commercial arrangement with the local authority, which is discussed in the business plan update, around having access to a private rented sector fund which will hopefully allow us to increase the number of private rented sector homes. I think that's very important because some of the feedback we are getting currently, especially for key workers, is that unfortunately they are not qualifying for social housing at this time. But what they do want is good quality private rented sector homes, especially for some of the key workers, like the Oswestry Hospital as a classic example, where we're building a number of homes currently. So that's where we are with our first 4 developments. And I can give you further details in a closed session.
Roger, I see you want to come back.
Qualification for affordable private rented. Can you expand on that? Because I do not understand the differences in finances or whatever. So,
I think for me, the affordable homes that we're building, they would be for a affordable provider, whether that's the council through Star Housing or a registered provider, to then use a allocations policy to allocate those policies in line with the council's allocation policy. If we had a private rented sector portfolio, a bit like Telford with New Place, where they've got about 500 homes that have been built, they would always, in the majority of cases, those would always be rented in line with market rents, and those would have to be verified because it's a commercial endeavour. But there is always that possibility of flexibility within loan arrangements on the basis it doesn't affect the covenants and the lender agrees to that. And those are some of the areas that we're negotiating at the moment with the council.
So, why can somebody not afford or be able to get into an affordable home, but they can into a private rented home, is what I understood you to say, however I've misunderstood.
I think Jay wants to answer this, Roger.
Yeah, sorry, if I can pick that up. So what we're talking about here is key workers who wouldn't typically be eligible for affordable housing. So we have an allocations policy for all our council housing and registered provider housing, which is what you would normally classify as affordable housing, which would be affordable rent or social rent housing. But most key workers would tend to be earning too much to be able to actually and be at the top of the list to bid into those sorts of properties and successfully be housed in classic affordable housing. So the idea of having private rented sector homes, which are at a market rent but will be let through Cornovies, that is our intention, would be to provide something else in the market that they could actually access that isn't currently available for them. Because what's evident to us is the private rented sector in Shropshire tends to be either sort of really fabulous high-end rented properties which are out of the reach of your typical key workers, or else, really kind of not great things like potentially houses in multiple occupation, which are probably not really what they want, and not at the standard that they would want. So what we're trying to do with this as an offer is sort of go in between those two extremes and provide something that we will be able to direct to that part of the market that will fulfil that need, but is a market offer rather than an affordable offer. And it needs to be a market offer because Cornovie is a commercial company. It's not a social housing provider in the way that the council is, or a registered provider is.
I'll then come back, Roger, and then I'm going to bring Ruth in.
So who would be the landlord for the private rented housing?
That'd be Cornovie.
In other words, Shropshire Council or via whatever, but it would be Canova. They would not be.
It would be Cornovie, and that isn't Shropshire Council to be absolutely clear. So, but yes.
Yeah.
Okay, Ruth.
I think we're both moving forward.
All right.
Sorry, Chair.
No, that's all right. I saw your finger go up. I didn't realise you were indicating for her. Sorry, Rachel. Well,
Yeah, I just wanted to check. What's the sort of setup for offering private rented sector homes to a specific sector within or a group within the private market? Are we entitled to say for care workers or hospital workers or something like? Is that something that can be done?
We can prioritise, yes. What we need to be clear on, we don't discriminate. We've seen that before in the private rented sector, but through the work we're doing with our lettings agents, what we're saying is that if we have a number of applications, we will have a criteria associated with maybe some of those key workers. But I have to be clear with everyone, it's a commercial endeavour first, and this is value added to that in terms of how you let those properties afterwards. But for me, the key is that we have to make that return back to the council because it can't result in a loss back to our shareholder. We need to meet our funding requirements as well and our statutory requirements. But as part of the common criteria, if we have numerous applications coming in for some of our homes, it's in our gift once we've gone through the initial kind of this is what we have to do legally, then to make allocations potentially based on key work criteria.
I'll let you ask one more supplementary. I thought that was relatively clear, but obviously because you're fairly new to this, it's gone.
It was a different question, but anyway,
Right.
It's about the size of properties that are being built, have been built, etc. By bedroom size. I just wanted to ask whether this is where we want to be, the sort of ratio between 1 beds, 2 beds, bungalows, specialist homes, that kind of thing, or are we still working towards that? I know there are balancing commercial aspects and all that sort of thing, but
it's really interesting because when we were first set up as an organisation, we made a number of commitments, such as meeting appropriate size standards set out by Homes England around our kind of EPC rating, and I'll come back to Roger's question around the EPC B in a second as well, of course. And I would say that we're doing some good work in this area. We're building more bungalows than a lot of other developers currently. We're building more smaller property, but we're also building what we need to make a site commercially work as well. For me, it's the more different funding pots and different tenures we can bring forward means that the more we can build different types of property. Now, the private rented sector work that myself and Jane have been doing for a number of years now to try and get this to this point, and with other colleagues in the council, will give us another avenue for us to explore potentially building more 1 and 2 bedroom properties in the future, because generally they are not commercially as viable as building 3 or 4 bedroom family homes. So I think the answer to the question is we've done some good work. I think there's a lot more good work to be done. But in terms of the mix, we're probably where we can be from a commercial perspective when we were looking at solely market sale with some affordable homes.
Okay, I think as well, I'll add that, when we spec'd all of that at the beginning, Cornovi, one of the things we did is we also made the houses very adaptable. So they've got wider doorways and they could be retrofitted for disabled people. So I think we go sort of above and beyond to save ourselves, trouble down the road, so to speak. Just before I bring you in, Ruth, Derek did shove his finger up.
Thank you for that. Actually, it was just to make sure we didn't miss Councillor Evans' second point, but I think it's just.
I was going to come back to it anyway.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Apologies. Everybody will be aware within the room that the SAP rating calculations changed about 12, 18 months ago. So I think we're now in SAP 2021. So what that means from a practical perspective is an old EPC A is now a EPC B. And the key drivers for that is first around the kind of thermal efficiency, but now there's that link between the cost of heating your home. And because London Road is our most thermally effective properties we've ever built, and probably some of the best in Shropshire, they've got all air source heat pumps in, they've got thermal insulation as well, and they've got solar panels. However, they're powered by electric, and everyone knows that electric is more expensive than gas. So perversely, if we put in a gas boiler, we may not have got an EPC A because it's cheaper to run, but we would have still got a B with the thermal and the solar panels within those properties, because it would have cost less to run. So that's why it's an EPC B. But when we did the initial calculations, it would have been an EPC A under the old regs and quite high in relation to that as well.
Ruth.
Thank you, Chair. A couple of points just to go back to the accommodation for key workers. I mean, there's a huge range, isn't there, of key workers, from a care assistant on minimum wage, up to a teacher or nurse in the health sector. And I'm just wondering when people are going on to Home Point, I know it's not specifically for this meeting, but it is related. When people go on to Home Point and say they're a key worker, are they directed to Cornovi as an alternative if their priority rating comes down low?
Not yet, because we don't yet have any Navy private rented sector properties to let to them. So that isn't something that we've yet contemplated, but it's certainly something that we can consider in the future, and sort of be as part of our housing options process if there are properties available to let, to direct them. Obviously, initially it's a limited number of properties we're talking about, so. And once they're let, I don't envisage they'll have a very high turnover either, because they'll be very good quality units. Exactly.
Yeah. But from community perspective, people are coming to me and saying, can't afford private rented at 1,200 a month, even full-time employment, and I don't qualify for social. And I think, sorry, put your name down with the estate agent, and that's all they can do. So I think if there's some sort of pathway through to a possible option, which is likely to be oversubscribed, I think that would be helpful. But my other question, if I may, I did go to the Ellesmere Wharf open day, and they were very impressive, I must say. They were really very good. But why, well, not why, on London Road and Oaklands, you have an environmental impact rating of A, but there's no mention of an environmental impact rating for Ifton Heath or Ellesmere. Should there be?
Yeah, I believe there is one. Yeah, I believe it's A for both of them, but I need to go back and check that out, Ruth. My only observation actually is that these applications were considered a while before Oakland and London Road. So whether there's a change in the regulations between then, I'm not sure. But we did do a lot of work on both sites in terms of the environmental impact. In Ifton Heath in particular, we've built a bat barn. And we had to do a number of quite detailed surveys in relation to the environmental impact of undertaking that development, and because of the location of Ellesmere Wharf next to the canal, there was a lot of work there done as well with the Wildlife Trust. So I believe there was quite a bit of work done there, but we can go back and come back with the answer.
Thank you. I was saying better than I say, very good.
Roger, I can see your finger was cocked, ready to go.
You know me too well, Chair.
I do.
So what we're saying is that in the London Road and the Oaklands, if we went to gas, we would be at the EPC A or not. Because also I see there's the air source heat pumps in Baston Hill, there is gas. But whether the air source heat pumps is obviously more climate better than gas. So can I, and whilst I'm here, I also see that in the agenda papers, you say in 8.5 about the London Road, the DL is yet to set out their rent and letting policy. So it would be possible to have more private renting or affordable homes or anything like that in there. But when would that be set up? Because already building in place, so there may be homes there which could go that way. I don't know where we are with that.
I think first of all, in terms of Baston Hill, that has also got an air source heat pump in rather than gas. In terms of if we put gas boilers in under the new EPC regulations, it would still be A, B.
Because it's gas.
Because it's gas, but with an air source heat pump, it's also a B as well, where previously it would have been.
Because electricity is so expensive now.
Yeah.
If I can, Chairman, I see there's kilowatt, there's photo cells going on the roofs. So would not those be big enough to run the air source heat pumps? And are there batteries there included in that, or is it just there?
There's no batteries because of the cost associated with batteries. In terms of the solar panels now, they're nowhere near efficient enough to power an air source heat pump. Because of, an air source heat pump is doing your water and your heating within your property. So that there needs to be a lot more efficient solar panels, and I don't think we're going to be there probably during my lifetime, if I'm frank with you, to allow them to heat a home, unfortunately.
Sadly, it also requires sun to shine, which doesn't in this country. Not much. I'll let you come back
But
once.
with the battery, it would help overnight if there was any spare power there. So why are we not putting batteries in?
because sometimes they may be in excess, so it would need to be sold back to the grid system on this, but I'd have thought batteries would have helped the householder to reduce their energy consumption elsewhere.
It's cost and efficiency. They are very big, take up a bit of room, and they are very expensive. And we did explore that actually. And what we're finding is the cost of batteries at the moment is prohibited. And again, from a commercial perspective, what we're really focused on is making sure we can build these properties as efficiently as possible, but still make them affordable. So you'd be looking at anything between £8,000 to £15,000 a property with the batteries.
I'll let you come back once more. Then we are.
I may come back later in the meeting.
Yeah, but it still
Fingers crossed.
yeah, it still allows the homeowner, if they want to buy a battery, to do that, because they'll have the air source heat pump, they'll have a full electric panel, and that option is still there. So there is a move which you've probably seen with the electric cars. So you've probably seen and heard about the Toyota car that now gets 720 miles from a battery, where previously it was about 320. So there's that option as batteries become more effective and efficient for homeowners to retrofit the batteries in their property. And because it's a fully electric property, there is that efficiency there.
We've had solar panels at home for 14 years now, and I changed my inverter. They normally typically last for about 10 years. I changed mine 2 years ago, and my current inverter has a facility on it where I could plug it into batteries if I so chose, rather than feeding it back down the grid. So as Harpreet says, there is the option if people want to get some batteries. We've also got a good place in Spain that generates as much electricity in July and August as my 5 kVA, whatever it is, on the roof at home generates in a whole year. So, of course, we don't need an air source heat pump there.
I don't want to take the whole meeting up with this, but it's a really important point because we did explore this around, can we put battery technology? What does that mean from a cost perspective? What does it mean from the grid and how effective things are? So
I was going to move on, but seeing as you
apologies, my bad.
I was just going to make one point. That was the thing to do is buy yourself a Tesla and park it in the garage and use that battery. And I was going to move that we accept the recommendation.
Yeah, excellent.
Sorry, I have a question.
Right, I'll let you have one more, and then we are going to move on because I think we're making rather more heavy weather of this than we need to be honest.
I just want to ask about the social value and also the average EPC and carbon savings. That's 3.1 and 3.2. We don't list London Road there.
No.
What's the reason for that?
It's where we are within the cycle with London Road.
They're not ready.
They're not ready, and we've not powered the site yet. So we're still waiting for an additional EV cable. Once we're able to do that, we're able to kind of start calculating that in a bit more detail. In terms of the social value, we're still very keen to work with Shrewsbury College, and SJ Roberts is doing some work there currently. And what we're looking to do is get that recorded, and we'll have further details at the next meeting.
Okay. Right, it has been moved that we know the report. Everybody content to do that now? Good. Okay, we will move on then to the next item, which is item 7, which is the exclusion of the public and press. Everybody content with that? Yeah, they moved, seconded. We will just like therefore Shelley to confirm that we are no longer live streaming.